You're listening to Studio 57 Radio, your home for underground hip-hop, rap, and R&B. Studio 57 Radio.
Rock, so Kev got to show up. I love it. It's like our once a year thing. We gotta.
You know what? Tom, I'm so sick of it. I really am. Tom, everybody's all big on you with this Super Bowl hype. You want to make me a believer? Go to Detroit. Do it in Detroit. Okay? Go to Detroit and win a Super Bowl. You want me to believe that you're great? Go to Detroit right now and take them to the Super Bowl. If you can do that, then I believe it. Until then, it's a hoax.
What's not a hoax is we're back on Wednesdays. Welcome back to another action-packed edition of DSR2. I'm running a hot mic. I'm screaming and yelling. I hope you guys are ready for it. The draft breakdown is coming in, and the draft breakdown, not my breakdown. We'll save that for another episode, but you never know. So just hang in. A couple hours of chaos. Text lines available to you. Social media's out there. Let's do this thing. NBA, NHL playoffs are coming. Woo! We got lots to get into. So without further ado, let's do the do that we do at DSR2. I am Snappy. And here is your host, the man, the myth, the legend, Johnny the Bird.
Hey, we're back here for another edition of DSR2 on this rather cold and blustery day here in the game. There's still lots to talk about. We'll get into a recap of our NFL draft there, see where our own Detroit Lions did. And again, I agree with Kevin Hart. Come here, win a damn Super Bowl. Otherwise, you know what? You ain't Jack. You know, you're just a step above Joe Montana.
You are just saying that because you want to win a damn Super Bowl, and you would do anything to get the goat here.
I would do anything to win the Super Bowl. I don't care. I have to sell one of the many souls that I owned that I was working on trading in for that corner office there in hell. I'll trade it for a Super Bowl, and I'll just get me a end office. Right? Not the corner. I'll be just on the outside, at least having a window.
I would trade it for a cubicle at this point.
Yes.
But that's
I don't know
just
about that. I mean, come on, it's crazy. That's gonna be all eternity. I at least want the corner office. I do have soul, so I got bargaining.
Yeah.
So. Again, we'll get into that. Also, we got the NBA regular season ending down. LeBron is whining because they may be in a play-in scenario.
Oh, well, why would you whine about a play-in scenario unless you don't think you can win the fucking play-in scenario?
That's exactly it.
I mean, come on, man. Come on, man.
Come on. We want you to play, Portland. And we want to have Damian Lillard just, put that dagger in your heart and twist.
Well, that would be nice to see that three-quarter court jump shot.
Yeah, three-quarter jump shot as the time expires on it and just go swoosh. And then he'll just look at you like that blank stare like, what?
Huh?
What? Because, David's stone cold killer when it matters. There. We got NHL's regular season. I think winds down. Should be wrapping up here tonight, Nat. So we'll get into that. Also, we'll get into the Capitals. Wilson there getting known as the dirtiest player in all of fucking hockey. If you didn't see that one,
I didn't see it, but I heard about it.
It was pretty bad.
Yeah.
It was more blatant than the Claude Lemieux on Draper on there, because that was just a bad hit, wrong position. Right. There was a cheap shot in there. This was blatant. He wanted to basically try to it was almost like he put the DDT on him on the ice.
Oh, okay. No, it wasn't a boarding situation like that.
No, he grabbed him.
Grabbed
him and threw him right to the ice. They were away from the board.
Yeah, everybody said it was
After
pretty
the
egregious.
fact.
Yeah, I didn't go back. I meant to go back and watch it. I just hadn't had a chance. It's been chaos in my world, but and I don't want to say that. I've just been busy.
Look at him and just say, you know what, you're not playing in the playoffs.
Well, and that's what everybody's kind of saying. It's like, yeah, you have to make an example. You can't just.
And he's got the history of that on there throughout.
Right, you can't let this one go by. It's one of those things that. I get the whole hockey polices itself and this and that kind of stuff, but that's above and beyond anything that the players should be policing themselves. You know what I'm saying? It's just
in the old time on there. I don't care if the whistle blew or not. They would probably he would have got his head caved in.
Right. Well, and then there's that.
There's that. Old time hockey on there. You know what? It's called a reckoning. So we got everything going on there. And of course, baseball, our Tigers are on pace to be the worst team in the history of the MLB.
Yep, that sounds about right.
They're literally right now is 50 runs behind the 62 Mets in runs scored. Their batting average is team batting average $192.
I heard a stat today, and I wasn't sure I was hearing it right. Is Miguel Cabrera hitting 105?
Yes. He's 0 for
105.
He is 0 for 23 in his last 23 at bats.
105. Like, that's Inge type shit right there.
Yes.
I mean, I don't even think Inge was that bad. He was right around there.
Oh, yeah. This is downright
that's
terrible.
That's some of the worst. I mean, that's just brutal, man. Just absolutely brutal.
And we got our fourth no-hitter of the MLB season.
Yeah, very close to a perfect game.
Yes. Well, again, 2 of the no-hitters this year were basically a wild pitch away from being perfect games on there. So John Means got, and again, they'll say it's a third because the 7-inning one. You made the rules.
Right.
It's a no-hitter.
Right.
If a complete game and a doubleheader is 7 innings, and he pitched a no-hitter for 7 innings, then that's a no-hitter.
Yep. Yeah.
For example, you set the rules. He didn't.
Right.
It's a no-hitter.
Yeah.
And everybody pretty much out there agrees that it's a no-hitter except for MLB.
Really? They're doing this shit again? Dude, don't they want people to like their sport?
Yes.
What the fuck are they doing?
Well, obviously.
I'm sorry, but like, to me, the MLB is so out of touch. That is why the average age of your fan base is in its fucking 60s.
Yes.
Because nobody watches this shit. That's stupid, dude. That makes me mad. Like, if I'm a casual fan, I'm like, really?
Yeah.
That's how you're handling this? You're gonna say it didn't happen? I just watched it happen. You made it impossible, no matter how well he played, to have a perfect game or a no-hitter.
Right.
Under your rules, and that you made up, and then you changed.
Right.
You moved the goalpost.
He said, no, we're going to move it away during the game.
All right. You move the goalpost. You can't.
Right.
You can't do that.
Yeah.
Man. And then you're just going to not honor it and just be like, yeah, everybody else thinks that, but not us. Fuck you. You know, like, dude, the arrogance of Major League Baseball cracks me up, because they're literally 10 years away from being obsolete.
Yes.
They're 10 years away from being less than hockey and more and soccer. Hockey and soccer are going to surpass them in the next decade.
You know also what happened in soccer? This weekend, during before the Manchester United Liverpool game, people were pissed and marching upon the stadium, basically screaming about the ownership because of the Super League.
Yeah, I did hear about
and
that.
needless to say, is basically banging on cars, almost caused right. Guys got into the stadium and were launching flare guns into the empty stands, out right where they got all covered over with the tarps and that. Like, fuck this.
Wow. Hey, man, there's the passionate fan base. That's a fact. Jesus. But I mean, seriously, in this country, and in 10 years, it's gonna be soccer and hockey over baseball in popularity here.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to younger viewers. I don't know why they want to do this to themselves. It seems like a shitty hill to fucking die on.
And here where Detroit is like, dude, Illich doesn't care.
Yeah.
Sell the damn team.
Right. Well, yeah. At this point, it's not what it was, and
yeah. Again, the rebuilding probably Alex Avila needs to be fired immediately. Again, you need a clean house on there, and you may have to start fresh there. Again, I'm not blaming AJ Hinch. He walked into this on there. They're actually the starting pitching is not looking bad. They can't hit worth shit. They're not developing any damn talent down into that they're drafting. It's a train wreck.
yeah.
And he won't fire him because, again, he'll probably give a damn extension, just before the 4th of July on that Friday at 6 o'clock. And, Alex will be there for another 4 years. And all of a sudden, nobody will be there to cover it because everybody's away for the weekend. Fire him, sell the freaking team.
Yeah.
But you're going to buy in, have mom buy into another casino in Atlantic City.
Well, this is the issue here, too, is it's the mounting frustration from the Detroit fan base, right? Detroit fans are super passionate about their sports and all that, and we've got nothing.
No.
Nothing. So, like, all we have is pent-up frustration. The Pistons are going to be the worst team in the league.
No, Houston will be the worst team still on there, but it's going to be close. But you know what? Even though the Pistons are terrible, and at least it's entertaining to watch it, you see potential. You see certain guys out there and say, okay, we'll see. I have more faith in the general manager of the Pistons right now, who's basically his first year in, than I have in Alex Avila, who's been here for freaking a decade and a half.
Right. Well, I don't know why he was general manager to begin with, let alone keep getting renewed and whatnot. It's
especially when there's a certain individual that's just sitting there working for MLB that's no longer a general manager. His name is, Theo Epstein, who's only built 2 contenders.
Right.
Got the Cubs their first World Series since freaking the invention of the car, and Boston the same thing too. He got them multiple championship. Phone call, blank check. Otherwise, sell the team. You're gonna get north of $1.5 billion minimum.
All right.
You bought the team for $80 million. You know what? You're gonna make some money there. Sell the frickin' team. It's just terrible. I'm just done with this crap.
I know. I can't.
We see it, and you're just going, what the hell?
But it's going to be the same thing with the Pistons, right? Because ultimately, you only can go so far when ownership is not doing its job. And ownership's horrible.
Yeah.
And basically every house.
Yeah.
Right now. I mean, the Red Wings probably have the best house right now, and I think that's probably why if you were to poll Detroiters, I would say they probably have more faith in the Red Wings front office than probably anybody's.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think maybe Detroit, I can't believe I'm going to say this, but I think maybe the Lions might be the closest. Just because I feel like they have a plan. They're executing said plan, and we'll see what happens.
Right.
Now, when I look at the when I look at the Pistons, the Tigers, and the Red Wings, I really don't know what the plan is. And I think that is kind of like, that's what's, when you're a Detroit fan, dude, it sucks right now. Like, I don't know what to say.
I think it's on there. We'll see what would happen if we get on there what the Pistons do in the draft, because you can actually add a guy. And again, you see players and places they drafted. And again, a free agent they signed with Jeremy Grant, who actually was like, okay, they got him reasonable. It's been a plus on there. We'll see what happens. But again, Bay is looking looks like a phenomenal steal in the draft.
Sure.
Killian Hayes shows potential now that he came back from the injury. He's looking better. Isaiah Stewart is looking like a steal too late in the draft on there as well. So we're starting to say, well, again, if they can get a top 3 pick on there, well, they should.
See, my big problem with all those guys that we mentioned, they're doing well and they show promise and all this and that, but those are complementary pieces that you develop along the way with a team that is established. Yeah. That's the way I see them right now, and they don't have any of that. So like it's like the blind leading the blind, right? So they could be great and all that, but if they don't know the way, and then the people leading the way don't fucking know the way, then what the fuck's it matter?
I think,
and that's kind of the way I feel about the way this team is set up right now. You've got a lot of young talent that has potential, but if they don't have great players around them to develop, they may not be anything anyway.
What they need to do is hit the home run this year on the draft, because they're going to have a top 3 pick on there.
Well, hopefully. But we seem to get the shaft job, and we're going to end up with fucking 7.
Well, again, if we end up in the number 2 worst team under, worst case scenario, we'll fall down to 4 is the lowest we could fall. If we get the number 1 pick under, then it's Cade Cunningham, and this thing could accelerate real fast, because I think he is definitely the best player in this draft. If we get Evan Mobley on there, he's going to be, I think a really great player on there. He can play the power forward. He's a stretch 4 out there. He's athletic. He's mobile. He does, for a 7-footer, he's shooting for like around 35% from 3-point land.
So is he better than Grant Hill in his prime?
I don't think. No, I think Grant Hill was just one of the top.
What the fuck did Grant Hill do with this team? So what is this one guy going to do?
I think what the place. I think we'll see. What I do believe that
because I mean the Teal years were horrible, and we had him and Stackhouse, and they were putting up phenomenal numbers, but they did nothing.
Right. The one Grant Hill I again, I think what it is, they just couldn't resign. Well, of course, they couldn't resign Grant Hill, and when they wanted to keep Hill, and then he was going to leave anyways on there. But the plus side is Grant Hill leaving gets us Ben Wallace.
Well, I understand. I understand that, but that has nothing to do with what I'm saying here.
Again,
that's
Grant
not the
Hill,
comparison.
I think, was again with that draft on there. With it again, they were terrible. They got to the playoffs. They just didn't get over that hump and that. I think this again. We're never going to get free agents signed here. It's just not a destination there. What they're going to have to do is draft these kids, develop them. Hopefully, you can keep them in house, and they develop as a team wise. Are we going to have a load of superstars? No. Are we going to have possibly 5 starters that are really, really good? Yeah, we could.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know where you're getting at, because you don't have 5 starters that are really, really good, even in your system. You don't have them in your wings. If you get one in this draft, then you've got one, and he's a rook, and he's got to lead a team. And then what are you going to do? And then if you're not drafted, then you're going to be terrible and continue to draft high and hope that you can work the system like Philly. Dude, that ain't going to work. That ain't going to work. With our ownership, it ain't going to work.
No,
it didn't work for Philly. Fuck, what are we talking about? Let's be real.
Yeah, Philly hasn't won a championship either.
So like, to me, I don't feel like that's the key. The way we've been able to, that's not how we won our last championship. That was all through free agency. The only one you drafted was Tayshaun.
Right. Everybody else was trades on it.
Right.
We got great trades. Except for, obviously when they got, Rip Hamilton was kind of a cast off.
Right.
Chauncey was a total cast off
right.
on there. And again, I
just think that you're going to have to utilize talent in that way. I don't feel, and I don't see them being players in any kind of trades and any kind of moves. And I don't even see them really making a whole lot of efforts that to any substantial any player at all.
Yeah.
What's
currently there, I see nice guys on there, but I don't see.
We talked about all that cool young stuff, and that's great. If you've already got a core group of veterans that are playing even if they're only playing at a 500 or sub 500 level, where they're in or on the bubble of the playoffs, or maybe just out, even if they were playing like that, and you brought in some new young talent, it would be promising. But when you literally have, it's kind of like, okay, my cupboards are bare and I've got 1 box of Fruity Pebbles in there. It's better than when it was bare.
Right.
But you ain't living off no Fruity Pebbles.
Fruity Pebbles
you're gonna
sucks.
Start, it's great when you had nothing, but then when that's all you got, it ain't getting it done.
I think he's just going to try to get somewhere where you start seeing potential under, and he's going to try to get the team and sell the team and dump it and whatever. And again, I see the Wings. You see the Illich family is going to sell the damn Tigers, and they're going to buy the Wings.
Well, that's what I'm hoping. But they
give a damn.
As far as the Pistons go, there's been plenty of opportunities to sell this fucking team.
Right.
And this team, he's not making this team better. So if he's trying to raise the stock by making this thing better, he's horrible at this.
Yeah.
And so he's going to end up losing.
I feel better now than I did a year ago. A year ago, I'm like, oh, crap, this is absolutely garbage. And we look on there, we'll see what happens. Do I see them turning in a corner anytime soon? No.
Right.
Unless somebody develops out of our minds and these kids take that monster jump next year, you go,
sure.
Holy crap. I mean,
sure.
Somebody Killing Hayes becomes a top 5 point guard in the league.
All right.
I don't know what's going to happen, but I feel better than I did a year ago in there. Right now, as we say, this is the Wings under Stevie. You start seeing these guys he's drafting out there. Maurice Sider is the top prospect in the NHL,
sure.
but he's not here. He's up in the minor. So he's a prospect. But he has, again, here's a guy we thought, well, that's a bit of a reach out there. And now you look and go, dude, Stevie's forgot more about hockey than probably most of these cats are going to remember.
Yeah, but that's not the case when you look at the Pistons.
No.
To me, so
I think it's the Wings, and I think I hate to. No, I don't hate to say it. I'm surprised to say it is. Freaking might be the Lions.
That's what I'm saying. Like I said, I think more people have faith.
They've got a plan in place on there, and I love the draft that they did. I mean, because again, it basically says, here's what we're going to do. We're going to have hopefully a top 5 offensive line, because they got Penny Sewell, and we're going to make a damn defensive front there that's going to put pressure on the damn quarterback. We know the secondary is terrible, but guess what? When you don't have time to throw, then you're going to be making bad decisions.
Right.
Put the pressure on there. put some pressure on it. And I like the fact double down, man. Defensive tackle. We're going to put cats in there. We're going to stop the run. Their linebackers are not that great. They're terrible. But you know what? The front four is on there, so the linebackers don't have to be great. And the secondary have to be great because they're not going to have any time to sit back there and throw. Be on top of him in 2 seconds.
All right.
He's not going to have 3 seconds to throw because then he's going to be on his ass.
Right.
He's going to get rid of that ball in 2.5 seconds and make a great throw. I like that fact on there. Again, did we address the receivers? We drafted a receiver, but I love the fact that the 2 guys they signed as undrafted free agents we're slated to be drafted. And I thought, all right, I wouldn't mind getting drafted with these cats in that 5th round, and we get them as free agents.
Well, I'm with it in the fact that I like I said, it feels like
adults in the room.
Yeah, it does. But will it play out and pan out? We've been burned so many times by this. Like I hold no illusions that this is actually going to work. It's just when you look at it optimistically from the outside,
and it helps that Aaron Rodgers wants to get traded.
Well, I mean, sure. I mean, I guess within the division, but I mean, it doesn't matter to me. It's not significant. Like, just because if you have to prey on another team's misfortune in order to be better, you suck.
You do suck.
Yeah,
But
you're not. That's not.
I do feel better about the Lions under with this general manager than I've ever felt in a long, long time.
Well, I think because he's new and because all those things.
He hasn't shit the bed yet.
He hasn't had a chance, dude. Let's be real. Like,
well, Bob Quinn kind of shit the bed right off the bat.
Well, no, because I remember when we went back and looked at the draft, we didn't hate it. I mean, we can go back and do the watch along back when we had it, and we didn't hate it.
The first draft, the second draft, I kind of hate the third draft. Yeah, on there, the fourth draft,
that's my point, though, right? You're always happy the first draft through. So let's see what happens when he's in draft 2 and 3 and what he did with this one. I just feel like the difference not between them before and them now. That's not the conversation here. The conversation is the difference between them, the Wings, the Tigers, and the Pistons.
Yeah, Tigers, I have no hope.
And so the Tigers, I don't. Same thing even with the Pistons. And the only reason, like I said, that I have any faith, I think, in the Wings is because I feel like the front office is a little bit more put together.
Right.
And so I give it the benefit of the doubt, even though we're not doing great things right now. Right. And that's just my take on it.
I think our Lions are going to be terrible next year, but I think the record will be worse than it was last year. But I think we might see the team actually might be a better team. You might see progress on there, even though the record won't show it.
Yeah, that's if I see solid play, consistent play. I see guys staying healthy, and I see and we get another high draft pick. Like, I'm all right with that.
No.
Because then you're gonna that it takes a few years, I think, really, honestly.
Yes, you won't know for 3 years if these cats are any good
with
or
this
not.
bad.
Unless somehow is everybody just explodes right out of the gate. Penny Sewell, I have faith that he's going to be here for a decade plus.
That's what I think is that, unless we're truly snake bitten, which everybody talks about being cursed and whatever, this guy should be.
This could be the best offensive
one of the best
line.
picks they've had in a long time because of the value you're getting out of this guy, having him around for so long and the cornerstone of what he's going to be.
Hope fate doesn't, doesn't return on there because again, the last time we had a good offensive line, maybe this good, we got cursed because again that was the year basically when 91 when we win the division, win our first playoff game in a freaking decade and a half, and unfortunately we get an injury there with Utley gets basically paralyzed, catastrophic, and Anelsack gets killed mowing his lawn in the offseason.
Right.
You had basically that was a line there that was in place to be there for a decade.
Yeah.
And you go, damn it, we see it, and then it killed us because 40% of your offensive line is gone.
Yep.
Not because of free agency or anything you did. It was just a bad injury and a freak accident. On there. I think hopefully this doesn't happen again because I do believe Sewell is got potential, and again, potential to be probably a Hall of Fame tackle.
When that
Decker's a good one. I think Decker's going to be moving over to the right tackle sooner than later. They'll move Sewell to left tackle. Ragnall's again probably a top 5 center in the league, and I do have faith in Johnson. It's the left guard.
When that Utley stuff happened, I was in high school, and I think that was the first time I was ever emotional about a particular player, and then after he got himself out of the hospital, he came and visited our high school, and we got to meet him, and he did this big old speech and stuff in the gym, and yeah, dude, that was crazy.
And then
So
it happened almost again on there, a couple years later with Reggie Brown.
Right.
Same thing.
So I just
thank God they were able to
go there with that stuff, I guess, is my point. And so I don't ever want to have to relive that kind of situation. No. But I just feel like any kind of, whether he has like a ton of like consistent injuries or whatever the case may be, if we can't keep these guys around like we should or expect or hope, you get that snake bit cursed feel. Right. Like,
remember, we're the only team to ever have a player die on the field.
Yeah.
With, back in 1970.
Yeah. Yuck.
Chuck Hughes.
All right.
Dies of a massive heart attack while playing. So, but yeah, I mean, we'll feel better on that. And again, again, as we said, is New England gets Mac Jones and his dad bod.
Yeah.
Skinny fat. He is literally
skinny fat cat.
He has one visit from Golden Corral for being fat.
Roy checked in on the Lions draft. He says he's excited about the new staff's first draft. Looks like these guys really know how to build a team, and that's once again, Roy, we're with you. And I'm not sure if you just tuned in. Yeah, we're with you on that. They feel like adults in the room for the first time, like they have a plan, whatever. Now, whether this plan is successful, we've got a minute to find out on that. I think most of us can go back at the first draft of most of the regimes and say, yeah, that's not bad when in the moment.
Right.
But what will we be saying after draft 2 and 3? And so that's ultimately kind of where it is like, let's see what happens, and then we'll go on from the next year. But yeah, when you look at the 4 Detroit sports teams, I think the Lions and are intriguing as far as the potential going forward. And then the Wings, I think there's faith in that, a little bit more faith in that front office than there is in the other teams. And then the Tigers and the Pistons are just hopeless at this point. So, but yeah, the draft was all that and then some. And of course, we talked about it and we closed the show on it. The very first Dum reach was by fucking Vegas.
Alex Leatherwood was rated
who the fuck? Who?
That was the worst.
Who? I mean, he was rated in here, are there?
No, he was rated as a mid-second rounder. I mean, literally, he was on there. He was rated to, but you know what is the one that, and then they flip around in the second round and get Mooring, the safety out of TCU, who should have been taken in the first. So if they would have flip-flopped those, we would have said, okay, not bad. But everybody else, you go, huh? And here it is they take the third round Malcolm Coates from Buffalo, linebacker, pass rusher. Gee, who was the last pass rusher from Buffalo that they taken that was really good? Khalil Mack.
Yeah, right.
Maybe you shouldn't have traded Khalil Mack. You should have both of them.
What?
So yeah, they're a terrible draft. Buccaneers, they didn't have a great draft on there, but when
when you resign
everybody,
all 22 starters from your Super Bowl team, who gives a flippin' fuck what your draft is?
Yes.
Who cares? I'm like, I mean, I'm not trying, but I'm just, let's be real.
They got the Cowboys as a terrible draft, then I don't see it. I see a pretty damn good draft.
Well, I don't know. See,
the one guy is people were like pissed off because we didn't get Jabril Cox there, the linebacker out of LSU, came from North Dakota State. He's got shoulder problems. They said he's got a shoulder injury that he will have to have surgery in the offseason on there. That gets teams like, you know what? You're supposed to be a linebacker. And you got a bad bum shoulder. We're gonna hold back. I don't mind anybody like the line saying, you know what? We're not gonna draft him. We'll go with Derek Barnes because if we draft him, he's definitely gonna have a bum shoulder, and we're gonna get fucked because we're cursed.
All right.
On there. That was Rams they have as a terrible draft on there. They take an undersized second receiver with Tutu Atwell. You know, he's like about a 5'6", like a $150.
Dude, he weighed in at so they said he was 145 or 165. Then he actually weighed in at 155. Then just before the draft, he weighed in at 149.
Yeah.
And people were freaking out like he was wilting away.
He's got chronic wasting disease.
Yeah, like he was dying, and he's like, nah, dude, it's just like I'm a light guy, and that's it.
Yeah, you're a midget.
Dude, he's a tiny dude.
He's quicker than shit, but dude, you didn't need to be drafting a receiver in the second round.
I think because I think his more natural weight is going to be 155, 160. So that's my build. If they can get him to 175, 180 and put some muscle on him, he'll be fine. Yeah. Deshaun Watson isn't that big.
Oh.
And he does that shit. So that's what they're looking for. They're looking for a guy that can get down 40 yards downfield in 2 seconds.
Yeah, you got to draft him a round later or 2 rounds later because he probably still would have been there.
Potentially, but
he was rated as a mid-4th round.
Right.
Take him in the second round.
Yeah, I mean, sure, but you see, like I said, it's one of those things. Like, what's out there? What fits your scheme? Who do you think's going where? Like, there's other things about, the draft besides just that. So,
yes.
But
I mean, everybody they taken was basically kind of a reach on there. If you look at the grades that they were on there, Ernest Jones, linebacker, South Carolina, was rated as a 5th rounder. They take him in the 3rd round. Just terrible. Ravens, they got as a terrible draft. I like the Bateman draft because they need a damn receiver that can catch the ball. Hollywood Brown is great. He runs like a gazelle, but he's got hands of stone.
Yeah, well, that's going to be an issue.
Bateman's got great hands, runs great routes. He's got a great size. He can catch the jump ball. He can fight for the 50-50 balls. Again, you at least got a receiver there. If Lamar Jackson wants to throw it on there, I don't mind that one. I like the second round there. So there's some picks out there with it. But I mean, it's, as I said, the Cowboys, I like the draft. I like them taking Micah Parsons on there. Dude, they need linebackers. They need cornerbacks. They took a quarterback in the second round. They addressed the needs they have. I don't mind their draft pick on there. Raiders are the Raiders. Other than the second round pick, I don't like anybody that they picked.
Yeah, right off rip, like I said when we were watching, we called it going in as we joked and had beverages and had cigars, and appreciate everybody that hung out with us last week on Thursday for our draft special. It's always a fun show, and you guys were great. Had a great turnout, and everybody was really cool. But we knew Vegas was gonna shit the bed. I mean, we knew where that was gonna go. But to me, when it comes to Dallas, I just think there are too many offensive line issues now.
Yes.
And you didn't address that.
No, they didn't address one of them.
And so that is why the Dallas draft is horseshit. That's why it's not a good draft, because you put all this money into a quarterback that got destroyed last year physically, and now you're going to put him out there with no fucking protection.
Yes.
That's the dumbest shit I've ever heard. Zeke had one of his worst years because of the offensive line and because Dak was injured, and now you're going to put an injured Dak and him out there with nobody to block. Nobody, come on, man.
Yeah,
those other fucking picks don't mean shit to me. Right, I don't care if they need this or that or the other. They needed offensive line help first and foremost. Well, and that protects all their other assets, and they didn't do any of it.
Their defense was downright terrible on there, so I don't mind that. But they didn't address the offensive line to the midway through the end of the 4th round, and they get a cat that's slated as a 7th round pick.
Right. That's why
there was a lot of guys available in that 3rd and 4th round that you could have picked up there that could be at least help out in
absolutely
on there. Whereas
absolutely, and you know what, you can shore up the defense all you want, but if Dak is on his ass, none of that matters, dude. Defenses will be wore out. Your defense will be on the field so goddamn much, they'll be wore the fuck out.
Right.
So, to me, nah, dude. Nah, it's always offensive line over defensive line if you have to choose. If you have to choose.
Yep. I would say the Packers draft might be worse on there because, of course, instead of getting Aaron Rodgers help, what do they draft? A cornerback in the 1st round, a center in the 2nd round. Well, they don't address the 3rd round. They finally grab a receiver.
Well, to me that's where the Green Bay Packers fucked up. their draft was bad because they made a bunch of shitty decisions before and after. You know what I mean? Like their draft board didn't stand a chance because they shit the bed with Aaron in the beginning. Like if you have all that set up, then your draft board means something. But now it didn't matter if they picked all these great players because you fucked this up so bad with him. He just came off an MVP season. You've been fucking pissing this guy off for years. What are you doing? How oblivious and tone deaf are you? Like seriously, this guy's a once in a generation player. Are you fucking kidding
lucky.
me?
You hit the. I don't know whose soul you sold because you're backed up.
You went from 2 Hall of Famers back to back to. How's that happen?
For 30 years, you got back to back Hall of Famers, so you didn't have to worry about your quarterback situations before.
In my entire life, almost.
Bukowski. I mean, the Magic Man. You have had Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers back to fucking back.
And
32 years you've locked into quarterbacks. I know.
Right.
You had Rodgers sitting there, but yeah. So since 1992 to now, you haven't had to worry about a quarterback. Everybody else, unless you're fucking New England, who for 20 years we don't have to worry about. We got Tom fucking Brady here.
Right.
But you had it for another 10 years beyond that. It's not their fault they didn't win multiple Super Bowls.
Right. And if you could appease this guy, he's still in his prime.
You pissed him off so much on it. He said, fuck you, I'm going to win the MVP again.
Yeah.
And he probably will win it again this year.
Yeah.
But now he's saying, fuck this. I don't need this shit. You want your $22 million anymore? Sue the fuck me.
Yeah, right. Well,
I'm going to host fucking Jeopardy and hang out.
Right.
Fuck you. See what you do with Jordan Love there, cocksuckers.
Yeah.
And even Devontae Adams, like, fuck it. When my contract's out next year, bye.
Right.
Then what are you going to do?
Yeah. And I thought...
You re-signed a freaking running back. That was stupid. You should have got that money and bought a goddamn receiver for Aaron Rodgers. And see, here we got you a new toy here to play with. Okay.
All right.
Because you already drafted a running back last year. What the fuck's wrong with you? Denver is another dumb one. Fucking idiots.
Yeah, but at least they're going to try to get in play for the fucking Aaron and fucking, pick up something from somebody else's mistake at least. But I just, that you screwed the pooch on that one. And I thought we'd be making fun of San Francisco and that situation, their quarterback situation.
No.
But no, ain't, not after this shit.
You're sitting there like, oh, good, thanks.
Because, I mean, think about it. You trade to get Garoppolo, you go through all this stuff, and then you go, oh, well, we're going to move up all the way to 3 to reach on, Chase Young or whatever the fuck. Who am I talking about? Yeah.
They got, Trey Lance.
Trey Lance, thank you. What am I talking about? And so you move up to get Trey Lance, and which some people think it's a stretch, although I called it pre-draft. We talked about it.
I think it was perfect. I thought they
but
did the whole
it fits the system and all that. Oh yeah, they played the Mac Jones cards perfect.
Oh yeah, look at this hand. Look at his hand.
Well, did I said that the week before the draft, and I called the pick before the draft went on the air. So that I wasn't fooled by that, but that was good. That was good work. But I thought that would be the talk, right? Because you move up. I mean, that's not the ideal situation, with that. And then what do you get for Garoppolo? And then if you don't get nothing, I thought that would be the mess we're talking about when it came to QB messes. But nope. And then I saw someone they were getting on Carolina because they didn't draft a quarterback but they got Darnold.
They just traded for Darnold.
Right, and they're like, well, they're putting their faith in Darnold. Well, yeah, duh. They just traded to get him. Why would they fucking draft somebody?
I thought they had a great draft under. They addressed the secondary.
Sure.
They got him another weapon with Terrence Marshall,
right,
who's a guy there. They added offensive line help with Brady Christensen. They got a good tight end with Tommy Tremble, and they got help for freaking running back wise, depth wise, in drafting Chuba Hubbard.
Yeah.
Who only ran for 2,000 fucking yards like last year.
So I don't know.
And then obviously is with Denver taking Javonte Williams on there. Obviously they're maybe having buyer's remorse for signing Melvin Gordon.
Yeah, right.
On there. Dude, I didn't understand that signing last year. I'm like, what the hell? You got Patrick Lindsey's sitting out there floating in free agent land. I signed Patrick Lindsey versus Melvin Gordon.
Right, yeah.
I like a cat that come undrafted, basically bust his ass, has 2 really good years, and you got Melvin Gordon, who's a malcontent, always fucking injured.
Yeah.
Basically, he's terrible at pass help on there. Jesus. I mean, again. And the Bears. Yeah, I like the Bears getting Justin Fields traded. I thought it was aggressive. But their track record for developing quarterbacks is terrible.
I know. Well, that almost makes me wonder. I mean, if they feel that
you're going to give the next regime, because you guys are getting canned after this year. This doesn't buy you 2 to 3 years. Hopefully, this gets you. Hopefully, you do something under. But he's got nobody to throw to. He has no offensive line to protect them.
Well, that's what. That's why.
Start Andy Dalton, let him get killed, and
Right.
you guys can get fired. And the next regime says, "All right, we've got the quarterback. Now we got to just give him, receivers and basically keep him upright."
Well, the key is, I think, with that situation is just like you said, they just don't. I don't know.
You know what the draft? Who I really love the draft was, especially with the first 2 picks on there, Buffalo. How are we going to beat Kansas City? We're going to basically get defensive guys on there. They're going to put rush on the guy, getting Russo and Basham back to back on there. You know what? We're going to do exactly what Tampa Bay did. Put pressure on your fucking ass and make sure you don't have time to throw. Because we know even if you don't have time, you can make ungodly, insane throws, basically, that nobody else human could do.
Well, but that becomes problematic, because if you're relying on that kind of stuff, it will come to bite you.
But you need, again, a pass rush always helps.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
I agree. I love the Buffalo Blues.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna get pass rushing.
Well, and they shored up. They got the players that they wanted last year, really, to shore up their offense.
Right.
So
they shored up the offensive line on there a little bit. They got a pretty nice pick on there with Marquise Stevenson in Houston. Of course, again, you don't have to worry about, because you've got Diggs and Beasley. I mean, dudes, great receivers, and you're going to always short up. I thought it was a really nice draft on there with it. Then you have the Eagles on there as a good draft on there. Okay, of course, they said his line's kind of screwed over the Eagles because we took McNeil and them because they wanted him, and then they were stuck with Milton. Well, they traded down because they thought, we're going to get McNeil later and get some more draft capital. Yeah. And the line's like, nope.
We'll take that. Thank you.
Thank you.
But I mean, that's how this is. It's a gamble, right?
Yes.
It's kind of like the stock market or any other, the blackjack table or whatever. You're going to take a gamble. You're hoping that they don't fucking turn that one card, and that's kind of what happened there. So you see a lot of that. We're usually victims of those things, and I just feel like at least we haven't been victimized lately when it comes to,
and they have
draft maneuvers.
Right. They got New England as the best draft on there, taking soon to be really fat Jarrett Lorenz, Matt Jones. There.
You know what? The only reason I think people are so high on it, it's because in the end they got one of the top 5 quarterbacks in the draft, right?
Yeah.
And that's kind of what they needed. They felt they needed. They feel Belichick can make this thing kind of work, but. To me, he doesn't have the track record of winning prior to Tom Brady.
No, but I
don't know that he can develop another guy like that. We'll see.
The quarterback one was on there, but the kicker, the 2 draft picks that came right after with Christian Barmore, Ronnie Perkins. I really like Barmore. Was the best defensive tackle. They get him in they trade up into the first round again. Oh, actually, no, they get him in the second round because they trade up in the second round to get him. That was a good pick. And then they get Ronnie Perkins, defensive end of Oklahoma, who, again, I really like as well. And they get him in the third round, which was a steal. I don't understand the Ramonde Stevenson, the running back of Oklahoma, another big bruising running back. How many big bruising running backs are you going to have on this team?
Right.
It's another reason I hate Bill Belichick if you got a fantasy running back from New England, because he's not going to play the right guy.
Yeah, no, never does.
Cameron McGrone, linebacker, Michigan.
He don't care about your fantasy team, just so you know.
He loves his Michigan linebackers because he got another one there. But it's a nice draft. I mean, I'm not buying the Mac Jones on there. We'll see on there long term. Yeah, again, other than really, what's the track record on Alabama quarterbacks? We don't even know what 2 is. They're not.
Yeah, it's mediocre at best, right?
Since freaking Joe Namath and Ken Stabler, have they had a good running quarterback?
Right. No,
in the NFL, no, they're dreadful.
Yeah. Like I said,
We don't even know on that. So,
Well, that's what I'm saying. Tua has been mediocre at best, and and like you said, prior to that,
it's been terrible
right?
for a better part of 40, almost 50, essentially 50 years.
Right. Yikes! But we don't have much to say from quarterback play. Our great quarterback best quarterback play has been Stafford, and we couldn't do anything with it. So, and I anticipate his play will go up this year. He should look pretty good with some of the weapons they got.
And I don't understand. They got the Jets at like 14. I like the Jets draft on there. Zach Wilson, okay. You get the offensive. They trade up to get the Vera Tucker, the offensive lineman from USC. I like on there. Elijah Moore, wide receiver from Ole Miss. Love that pick in the second round. Gives him at least a weapon there to throw to. You get Michael Carter, the running back out of North Carolina. I really like that. And then you get Michael Carter the second. You know, again, you're gonna have Carter 2 and then Carter on there, safety out of Duke, and Jamin Sherwood, safety out of Auburn. I think really like safeties because they drafted 3 of them.
Well, it's one of those things where
I think Carter will play defensive back.
I was gonna say you can move guys over.
He'll move the
to
defensive
corner,
back and that. So I thought they were okay. I thought it was a better. You know what? It's not a bad first draft in there. Pittsburgh, they got Pittsburgh up high. I don't see it. You needed offensive line help, and you draft a fucking running back. You couldn't run the ball because your offensive line was terrible.
Right.
So you didn't really address that.
Well, I agree with you in the sense that I'm all about the offensive line, and I agree that I just don't feel that they really address things like they should have there. But I think it is common belief that running back was where they were going. And at that pick, who they would,
Najee Harris.
I'm not bad with Najee Harris at that pick.
I think Najee.
So I get it, but you're right. Like unless they have some other plans on moving some guys over or doing something in free agency, I'm not sure exactly why they didn't address that in the draft as well, even if it was later.
Yeah. Dan Moore, junior offensive tackle out of A&M in the 4th round.
I was about to say
Kendrick Green wasn't a bad pick in the 3rd round, guard out of Illinois. He'll play the right guard. That's good. DeCastro still play the left guard, but again, they need a center. They need a right tackle.
Well, didn't their center just get hurt?
No, Pouncey retired.
Oh, I thought they had somebody else in there that was good, but he got hurt.
He got hurt, but again,
so they have their center because they believe that he's the guy.
Pouncey was the starting center last year, and he got hurt, and he retired.
Okay, gotcha.
They signed a center on the offseason, but we don't know how. I mean, it's definitely going to be a step back because Pouncey was a Pro Bowler.
Well, yeah, but I mean, if they feel like they got him, then then it makes sense why they drafted somebody because they already picked somebody up for that
Pittsburgh
position.
Somehow always has great centers. I mean, you go all the way back to Mike Webster.
Right, and this guy might be that too.
Damani Dawson, and then you had Jeff Hardings, and then you had Pouncey.
Sure.
For freaking
and we don't know
essentially 50 years, you had really good centers.
Then I'm going to take if they think this guy's the guy and they picked all those guys beforehand, I'm going to take their word for it. You know what I'm saying? You may
have to take them at just give a benefit of the doubt.
I think so because they've you know what? For the last 5 fucking decades, they've had the right fucking guy, right? So maybe I should just say, and I don't know jack shit about this guy, right? So guess what? I'm just going to take their fucking word for it.
The same thing.
And since they think that's the guy, then the picks that they made actually make sense.
That's like for the better part of like 2.5 decades of Tigers.
Right.
I mean, we had catcher. We had Bill Freehand, and then when he retired, we had Lance Parrish. So we pretty much for essentially 2 decades, we're all set at catcher.
Yeah.
We didn't have to worry about it. Yeah. You had 2 all-star catchers.
Exactly.
You had 2 of the best damn catchers in the American League. Bill Freehand might be the second best defensive catcher in the all history of MLB behind Pudge Rodriguez.
Sure, I can go along with that.
Because I think Pudge is the best. I mean, Pudge was the best catcher I've ever seen.
Yeah, I think
Parrish was great. Parrish had a cannon too, but Pudge had a ungodly cannon.
Well, and to me, he came at a time when you couldn't get anybody to come here,
right?
And he changed that narrative.
Because you got him, and
he was even more crucial.
Yeah, him,
than
and
just
then you got
play.
Mags back to back,
right?
And that kind of changed that culture real quick.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, we overpaid him, but you know what?
So you had to at the time.
So what? You overpaid him. Guess what he got you? Got you to a World Series.
Right. And you should have won that. You should have won a couple of them, and it was the turning point that led to the next ones too.
Right.
The next trip. So to me, like I said, the Pudge Rodriguez one will always stand out to me because until he started selling the Detroit Tigers in his pitch and getting other guys in there, that was not feasible for the Tigers. And if you have to overpay to get a guy in like that will essentially recruit for you, then so be it. And it was the turning point for the Tigers from being a dreadful, horrible team to being a contender and having people want to come to Detroit. And now ownership's changed and things are messed up, and that screws everything up. But I mean, ultimately, I feel like Pudge was just more than his stats and his presence behind the plate or at the plate. I think just the fact that he came here and would champion for this team for other players and change the way the culture was going to be here is so huge as well. But so but like, do you have that kind of a culture change? That's, you know what, that's what the Pistons need. They need somebody like that to come here, right? We talked about it earlier, and maybe even the Lions need somebody like that comes here is part of a winning culture and says, no, you want to come to Detroit, and then maybe this can be the regime that can bring somebody like that. You know, that I mean, that's kind of what everybody hopes with, like all the crazy special who's this, that, and the other people that they try to bring in to fix the team. You know, they bring in Spielman and all these other cats, and people kind of hope from that.
Penny
But
Sewell
we'll see.
says, "Hey, I love playing the Lions and Mana because I want to basically take the underdog."
Right.
Like a guy says under, Levi Anawuzurike, he's like, dude, I wanted to go there and I want to fuck people up. Again, I love a guy who's basically dropping S-bombs on the Zoom feed there about there. It's like, yeah, whoops, sorry, I'm gonna fuck people up. I want that attitude.
Well, and if you like that attitude and it fits the coach's attitude and the attitude you're gonna have for the
attitude.
So I mean, that could be the identity, you know, because that's what you do, right? You want to develop an identity, so you can. That's a great way to do that. So I mean, those are all positive things. But once again, we've seen this before, but the formula has never panned out. So we'll see how that goes. When we look at these drafts, only time will tell. As much as we goof on the Raiders or we go back and forth on the Steelers draft, whether it was good or not, only time's going to tell. But the Raiders have proven to me that it's a clown show. Cue the circus music, and
they can't fire the coach because he
owns a fucking team. But so stupid, part owner. But anyway, but when you look at Pittsburgh, like, they've just have nonstop greatness all the time. So if they make a pick or do something that I think's out of line, then I'm just gonna say, I guess I don't know shit, because they obviously do. Because when's the last time Pittsburgh's been bad? And bad I mean, they're not making the playoffs, and it's not.
You would have to go back the last couple of years under
Cower.
No, Cower.
He was all right.
Cower, I think his worst year was a 7-9.
Yeah, when he had Slash, right? He had those Slash years that were kind of like a little lean in there.
Down there, but you would have to last.
Charlie Batch or whatever and shit. There was a little lean there, but
Chuck Noll, the last couple of years were not that great.
Right. I mean, it's a long time.
Because there was that period after, basically when you had Bubby Brister in that quarterback.
Right.
They were not that great.
So I mean, and then they just really had that window,
but
right?
Tomlin
Because
he hasn't had a losing record. His worst record, I think, was 8-8.
Right.
But dude, he gets in the playoffs all the time. Coward, I mean, again, Tomlin, people gripe about. I'm like, dude, he gets you every year. You're in contention.
Right. Yeah. When you get to the playoffs, ultimately, a big gaffe aside, it's really about the players on the field, right? Because you're talking about all the elite. And you're going to play the game plan, and everybody's going to game plan for the game plan, and they know who they're playing and whatever kind of situation. So to me, it feels like when you get into the playoffs and, minus a giant gaffe by the coach or an outstanding call or use of clock or something like that was a difference in a close game, I think for the most part, it's the play on the field that gets it done.
Yeah, and I'm with you on that.
So, You know what?
Who had also great? I thought was a really nice draft, even though they didn't have a ton of picks. Was freaking Kansas City, because you got Orlando Brown. They made a trade on there, so that's essentially part of the draft. They lost their first rounder, so they shore up the tackle.
Right.
They They signed a bunch of free agents on there in the offensive line. They're really good. They addressed down there. They got better help at the linebacker with Nick Bolton. They addressed at the center, drafting Creed Humphrey. I mean, they got another defensive end on there. I mean, it was just like, okay. I'll trust on again because it's Andy freaking Reid.
Right.
The reason again we looked at it and go, oh yeah, Patrick Mahomes. Why? Because it's Andy Reid. Mahomes would not be Mahomes probably without Andy Reid. Andy Reid saw it and said he's going to be the best quarterback out there. I've got the offensive game plan for him to fit perfect.
Well, it's one of those things where
he had the talent, but everything it's just like a perfect mesh.
I was gonna say, I think it's one of those things where I think Mahomes is going to be Mahomes. I just think that the way Andy Reid was like so willing to open up the playbook and then allow him to freestyle and to do all those kinds of things that early in his career, I think is just what helped him blossom so quick. So it's one of those things, like you said, it's more like a perfect marriage where, Mahomes is going to be Mahomes, but the fact that he was Mahomes so fast, I think was because of the nurturing background of how Andy Reid deals with his players.
They had Kelsey. Sure. But again, he gets Kelsey and Tyreek Hill. He drafted Tyreek Hill, I think, the same year as Mahomes. And
you had, what's his name there at quarterback? Alex Smith.
He traded for Alex Smith because I need a stopgap on there. And again, Alex Smith was a pro. Mentor quarterback.
Yeah, he was a pro.
Again,
total pro.
Talk about it. You get a pro's pro out there who basically said Mahomes, he goes, I wouldn't be here where I am without Alex Smith being my mentor.
Sure.
Alex Smith is going to be again, if you ever want to get a guy out there to be a quarterback coach, eventually become an offensive coordinator, Alex Smith probably should be at top of your picks.
Yep.
Looking into it.
Yep. I think, you know what? If he wants it, I think he's got a coaching job. I think he'd be able to come in and be a coordinator,
he'll be a quarterback coach and then go right to coordinator.
Yep.
I think he's that smart and everything. I think he grasped the game like on there with it.
Yep.
And that's why I said he's going to be one of those guys out there that just goes right to, he could do it, he will succeed.
Yep.
Because trust me, he's come back for what he's gone through and to make a comeback like this, dude's got it between the ears.
Oh, sure. Sure.
He's got fortitude and everything with it between the years of that. So, yeah, I agree with that. We still got lots here to talk about.
Dude, tons.
I need to catch a breath here.
Yeah, I need to get
some
a beverage.
More water here. My mouth is dead.
I'm telling you. So, Joe, Chris, Roy, Mike, everybody, hang tight. We won't be gone too long.
We'll be back in here just a few minutes.
Yes.
We're DSR2, Studio 57 Radio.
You're listening to Studio 57 Radio, your home for underground hip-hop, rap, and R&B. Studio 57 Radio.
Party people, this is the original Doc Ice, and you are definitely listening to Studio 57 Radio. And if Studio 57 Radio isn't on, then your radio ain't really on. Check that.
You're listening to Studio 57 Radio, your home for underground hip-hop, rap, and R&B. Studio 57 Radio.
Hey everybody, Scrappy here to tell you about That Radio Show. Hang with me as I break down the world of entertainment with great guests, celebrity interviews, awesome games with wonderful prizes. Also, we've got the biggest library of underground hip-hop of any station on the net. You mix in a little stand-up comedy and a text line so your voice can be heard, and you got a pretty good little show. But add listener-controlled programming? Yeah, you heard me. Listener-controlled programming, where you, the listener, can decide what makes it on the air, and now you've got the greatest show ever created. So join my show, your show, our show, the people's show, That Radio Show, each and every Tuesday, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, only here on Studio 57 Radio.
Hey everybody, this is your boy Big D, here to tell you about Mark for Life Tattoos. Guys, this place is the cleanest, most laid-back studio in Metro Detroit, and the artists are top-notch. And if you're like me from the D, you need to stop in on Fridays for that D-Day and get your Old English D for only $20. Not interested in tattoos? Mark for Life does body piercings. Mark for Life is located at 22533 Van Dyke in Warren, and the guys are there 7 days a week from noon to 9. So give them a call at 757-2222. That's 586-757-2222. Tell them Studio 57 sent you and get 20% off. So what are you waiting for? Call them now.
Hey everybody, Smokey here to tell you about Allstate Tire. With winter fast approaching, the most important thing between you and the road is your tires. So don't put your safety in just anybody's hands. Go to Allstate Tire. With new and quality used tires available, you can trust Allstate Tire for all your tire needs. You can visit them at 14208 9 Mile Road in Warren, or give them call at 586-779-8759. Allstate Tire, your source for quality new and used tires.
What's happening, everybody? Scrappy here to tell you about Love and Life Club. Love and Life Club is a social networking club that's located at 19960 James Cousins. That's the Lodge Service Drive between 7 and 8 Mile Road in the D. You need to stop in for $5 Fridays for great music, food, and drinks. I personally recommend the chicken. Love and Life Club is also available for rental for bachelor parties, wedding receptions, or any party for that matter. For more information, log on to www.loveandlifeclub.com. That's loveandlifeclub.com, or call D at 313-999-2824. That's 313-999-2824. That's Love and Life Club. If you love and life, you need to be in the club.
We are taking over this broadcast for the Ultimate Underground.
Studio 57 Radio Original. You know, when you hear that sound, you're gonna have a good time, because that's the sound of the Ultimate Underground live concert webcast from the Detroit area. We go to the most famous, or should I say infamous, venues in the D, and bring the underground music scene from the streets to your computer like nobody else can. There's only one catch. You never know when and where the Ultimate Underground is going to take over a broadcast. So you need to stay tuned to Studio 57 Radio all day, every day for clues on when and where the next Ultimate Underground may happen. Now, there's no other station on the net that's going to give you this live webcast of some of the hottest artists in the D. That's the Ultimate Underground live on your home. Rockin' Metal, Studio 57 Radio, baby.
Goodbye.
You get what you want, cause we got what you need. Studio 57, serving streets of the D. Recording, mixing, mastering, or great beats. We do what we do to keep you hot on the streets. You get what you want, cause we got what you need. Studio 57, serving streets of the D. Recording, mixing, mastering, or great beats. We do what we do to keep you hot on the streets. Studio 57 is a 32-track digital recording studio that utilizes Cool Edit, Logic Pro, Shure, AKG, Sennheiser, Yamaha, Korg, Mackie, Boss, Ibanez, Fender, Fruity Loops, and many, many more to make your music pop. Experienced and friendly engineers make Studio 57 feel like you're home away from home. With beat creation, mixing, mastering, digital media conversion, and DJs for any event, Studio 57 Records is your one-stop shop for all your music entertainment needs. We have online bill pay and flexible payment schedules. That makes Studio 57 the place to be. For more information, visit Studio57records.com. That's www.studio57records.com or call us at 586-420-3390. That's 586-420-3390 or log on to Studio57records.com. And just remember one thing, baby.
You get what you want because we got what you need. Studio 57 serving straight to the D. Recording, mixing, mastering, or great beats. We do what we do to keep you hot on the streets. You get what you want because we got what you need. Studio 57 serving straight to the D. Recording, mixing, mastering, or great beats. We do what we do to keep you hot on the streets.
Party people, this is the original Doc Ice, and you are definitely listening to Studio 57 Radio. And if Studio 57 Radio isn't on, then your radio ain't really on. Check that.
You're listening to Studio 57 Radio, your home for underground hip-hop, rap, and R&B. Studio 57 Radio.
Yo, 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 yo. What up, doe? Hour one in the books. A little chaos there breaking down the draft. It was ADD radio. Hope you guys enjoyed. We had a little fun, but we were all over the place with it. Love the conversation. Everybody that got in here, Roy, Mike, Chris, Joe, all the others, everybody, appreciate you. Of course, so Studio 57 Radio across social media. You can check us out on Facebook, YouTube, TuneIn, Stitcher, Spreaker, all that fun stuff. Studio57radio.com is where it's at. And I'll hook you up with that text line here in just a minute. Get in on the conversation. We want to hear from you. We still got NBA and NHL is rounding out the season, getting ready for the playoffs. We got to get into that, plus all kinds of other fun stuff. So big shout out to my boy Roy, hanging in there and still listening to us, even though me and him got into a heated debate back in the day, and he's still hanging out with us. So good man, good man. Appreciate you and everybody else that's hanging out with us. So let's get into hour 2 of DSR2. I am Scrappy, and here's your host, Johnny the Moose.
Hey, we are back here for the second hour of DSR2 on this cold, blustery Wednesday here in May.
What the fuck is going on with Mother Nature's ADD? Or
I'm talking about ADD
bipolar.
Mother Nature on there, yeah. Because Sunday was 83 fucking degrees, and today we hit like 54. Up, down, up, down.
Welcome to Michigan. Rain, sun, clouds. I heard we're gonna get hail next week. What the fuck?
We'll have probably fucking snow.
It's unbelievable.
So there's still lots to talk about there. We got to get a little bit of hockey. We'll get into that. That season's just about wrapped up. I think today is the last day of the regular season, and then we'll get into the playoffs there. Also, we got NBA action down there. LeBron is still whining about, I don't like the play-in games.
I don't want to get beaten up play-in games.
And then baseball there, we have our 4th no-hitter there, but it's the 3rd no-hitter because baseball doesn't know what the fuck the rules are out there.
Baseball hates itself.
Yes.
That's what I just heard. That's what I heard. Baseball hates itself. Baseball is the equivalent of a teenage cutter.
Yes. Meanwhile, the leaders of the National American League in home runs, JD Martinez and Nicholas Castellano. Gee, I wonder, could we use those two guys here?
No. We could use them for trade bait. Oh, wait. We fucked that up, too.
We trade them.
Damn. That didn't work out.
Meanwhile, we're like, again, worst run differential team out there. We've only scored like 86 runs in 30 games. And that includes the 7 runs they scored last night.
We have a former Triple Crown winner batting 6. No, like not batting 6th, like batting 006. I mean, God, he's batting like what's he hit? Like 1 in every 34,000.
He's half the Mendoza line, which they always say is 200.
God.
He's hitting a $105.
Man.
He's hitting the equivalent of an anorexic teenager.
Well, he used to hit pie. Now he's hitting the pies.
Yes. Of course, he's not going to retire because, dude, he's guaranteed like $70 million between this year and next year.
Yeah, why would you go anywhere? This is
I'm
a
retiring.
fluff job.
You owe
Yeah.
me $70 million.
Yeah, I'm staying here.
Pay me my money.
Yeah, you can pay me to go home. I mean, I guess you could do that.
Yeah.
Jeez, just a mess. So
Terrible.
yeah, so we determined that already. That's a recap of hour one. Baseball hates itself. LeBron's a whiner, and the draft was all over the place.
Yes.
So there you go. All right, we're done. We'll see you later. We're out of here early tonight. No, I'm just kidding. So yeah, the Giannis effect, looking good. We'll see how that goes. But I like what's rounding out in the East. The NBA East looks like it's going to be fun at the top here. Because guess what nobody wants to do, and I can't believe I'm going to say this, nobody wants to play the Knicks in the second round.
No.
I never thought I'd be saying this. And this is like we are in bizarro land. But yeah, motherfuckers, I said it. Those top teams in the East don't want no part of the Knicks in round 2.
Right.
Am I batshit crazy?
No,
Call
you're
me
not.
batshit
Because
crazy.
here's the kicker, too, is what are the Knicks doing that nobody else does?
Defense.
Yes. They love Tibbs. Julius Randle might be your most improved player in that out there. Tibbs should be coach of the year. They absolutely love the man here. They will run through walls in there. And he gets run out of Dodd in Minneapolis because they didn't know what the fuck they're doing. That's how terrible the Timberwolves are.
Everybody of any ilk or meaning or substance has been run out of that fucking place.
Yes.
Like, seriously. Tell me who hasn't been. Seriously.
Well, Flip Saunders, because he died.
Well, I was about to say, they killed him from the inside out. What are you talking about?
He wanted to leave, but he couldn't because he died.
Yes, he tried
He's
to
on his
leave.
deathbed. Just please, I want to quit now.
I want out of my contract. No.
And we're going to give it to your kid, too.
Yeah, we'll let you out of your contract when you die. He went out of his contract so bad he just let himself go. He's like, fuck it, I just want out of this thing.
This kid's like, no, I don't want to coach the Timberwolves. So they run him out.
Well, since we're all going to hell, if there's such a place.
I mean, of all people, the Knicks. We make fun of the Knicks, and we make not the Knicks. We make fun of Dolan.
Dolan mainly. I wish I want the Knicks to be viable. I mean, it's a huge market.
Yes.
If the East has got another great team, imagine having the Knicks in Brooklyn being two good teams in the East. I mean, that's great television on Sunday afternoons.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I want that so bad. But Dolan doesn't deserve it. He's a dickhead, and he's a basket case. But right now, like I said, man, like you said, Tibbs has got it going on. And I've always loved him. I've always loved the way he does shit.
Well, I love it when he coached Chicago, and that he made
Sure.
Chicago into a contender again on there. Again, granted, you had Jimmy Butler and Derrick Rose.
Well, yeah, but the Derrick Rose injury,
That hurt them.
that really hurt him. And if that doesn't happen, I almost wonder if he gets run out of there. You know, he might have been there a lot longer.
Oh, Tibbs has probably been there longer. Rose would have been there longer.
Right.
And who knows what happened. They may have won a championship or two.
Sure. So
Dude was the youngest MVP player in
Right.
the history of the NBA
Yeah.
at 22 years old.
Right.
Oh, I mean, he was a bad man when
Yep.
he was before that knee injury.
You know what he reminds me of, and we talked about him earlier, Grant Hill. All this potential, great young player, and an injury just kind of derailed what could have been an outstanding career.
Right.
And I mean, just a transcendent player, really.
Yeah, and
it went before the injury.
You would have had him in his physical prime, and you would have had Jimmy Butler too. Dude, you got the tandem there at the 1 and 2 guards.
Well, to me, that is a Stackhouse Grant Hill thing.
That's the
if you can put guys around that, that's great. Detroit could never do it.
That could even be better. I would almost say you could almost say that might be the Zeke and Joe Dumars.
I mean, I don't know if I see. To me, that backcourt is probably top 3 ever.
Oh, Zeke and
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So I just don't. It's hard for me to
Zeke
put anybody.
might go down as the second best point guard in the
Ever,
history
right.
of the NBA, only behind Magic Johnson.
Right. So I just I don't know. I'm not. So that's a hard one for me. It's hard for me to get past that, you know. But whatever.
But again, as we see, like, we both love Jimmy Butler. Man.
Yeah, absolutely.
We love the fact that, again, I love the fact that, again, you don't
I
want,
like
I
the
don't know if you want to
mentality-
play Miami in a second round either right now.
What? No, I don't think so either, because I just like the mentality that he brings and how he lifts the players around him and all that kind of stuff, and that spunk and that we talked about football teams needing an identity. I mean, it is no different with basketball teams. No. And when you have a guy like that who kind of sets the tone and kind of creates the on the court identity that you have, it's super crucial above and beyond just the numbers he puts up. And Jimmy Butler he's that in a nutshell, and that's what he does for every team he gets on. And I think that's where he was underestimated for a long time by other teams, that he wasn't like the guy that could, bring these other players up and do all that stuff. And no one bet on him until Miami, because really that's the way I feel with Butler. Like, they wanted to pay him and they wanted him to come in there, but nobody had faith that he was, this guy until Miami, in my opinion. Right. And so, if you had all those guys together, I mean, that would have been a great team. Chicago could have really made a run. But once again, we've seen good tandems together and not have it quite pan out. But with a guy like Thibs, I just don't see how it wouldn't. And that's what you got over here now in New York. And it's scary, because we joked about it. Just last year we were joking about New York. And even earlier in this year, it's like, yeah, we like the Thibs hire, but it's going to be a minute before they're going to be ready. And they're playing really well in the East right now. And granted, it's the East, but to climb all the way up to 4 or whatever, they're at 4.
9-1 your last 10.
Yeah, I mean, they're
they play defense out there. And again, as we said, defense can carry you into the playoffs and do some damage.
Well, defense is one of those things that you can teach and you can practice. But I mean, like, so yeah, if you can, and no one's playing. So you don't have to be, if your shot is off and you're not hitting, you don't need to hit to play good defense.
Right.
And hustle. And when you are playing good defense, it's because you're hustling and doing all the shit that doesn't show up on the stat sheet. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's all on there. That's all part of it. And so, yeah, I like that, but we love that here, right, Moose? We had the 04 Pistons,
right?
The first team to 70
wins,
and I just watched the game the other night, and it was $152 to 141.
I know. In
regulation.
Not a triple overtime.
No.
Like Pistons, Denver, like in the 80s, where it was in the triple overtime, 170 to 160.
Yeah, no, they just did that in the third quarter.
Yes.
Like, what the fuck?
Under. Team I don't want to be right now, Lakers.
I'm so glad you said something. I was going to go there. I wasn't sure if I should just segue for you. I'm glad we were on the same wavelength. I mean, dude, DC put it on them last week. I mean, they're just nobody's
they're
scared
3-7 their last 10, and they're not looking good. And again, LeBron's out another 2 games because of the ankle injury. You're a game ahead of Portland.
I would love for them to get into the this little play-in tournament thing.
Because the play-in tournament means if the Lakers fall to 7th during the play-in tournament, that means they face Golden State or Memphis or San Antonio.
I love it.
So it means I don't know if you're the Lakers, you want to play San Antonio or not Golden State right now.
To me, this is what we talked about, Moose.
Because Steph will be sitting there at the half court just like...
To me, this validates everything I've been saying since LeBron went to L.A. and about this team. They won that championship in the bubble because it fit exactly what they needed.
Yes.
Think about it for a second. LeBron, on as much rest as he's ever had in any season, in a bubble where he can grab those guys by the fucking
throat
and every day, and all they're thinking about is basketball, and all they're doing is basketball. And then some people thrive in that situation, and some people crumple, and they took advantage of that. If there's no bubble last year,
they don't
win the championship.
No.
And you can see it here right now. They might not even make the fucking playoffs.
Right.
So, like, to me, this validates everything we've been saying this whole fucking time. And I got killed. Y'all killed me, man. Where you at now? Where y'all at now? Hit the social media up. Where y'all at now?
Right.
I mean, because I don't know, whatever.
No, I'm with you on-
Text line's open for you guys. Go ahead, kill me now. 313-307-5340. Text line's open, of course. Studio 57 Radio on social media across the board. Guys have already been in on the draft talks and everything else. If you want to get on the NBA talks, that is another way to do it. But, yeah, I got killed on that, and now it's kind of playing out. So, I mean, if they could stay healthy, you know, we talk about the best abilities, availability, and all this other nonsense, and yoopity-boopity-boo. But, I mean, the fact of the matter is, you know, LeBron's long in the tooth. He's on the downside of his career. And your boy, the Brow, hasn't looked comfortable since he got to L.A. So what's that all about?
Yeah. Well,
what's that all about?
Well, also, too, is, again...
You can't be an all-star and a top player in the league, go to the fucking Lakers with, you know, a guy that's trying to be the GOAT, and then not be comfortable.
Right. He's never comfortable, and he's always hurt. Always. Other than because he did get the honor last year in the bubble, they were honored. But again, name a season other than last year that he played all again.
Once again, they had time to recover and be healthy and rest, and they were in that bubble where it was just all about, you know, taking care of yourself and playing basketball and like, I don't know, I just think they took advantage of a situation, and thank God they did, or this whole fucking experiment with the Lakers would be a fucking debacle, in my opinion. Because what is this right now? Is this not an unmitigated disaster if you're a Lakers fan, or am I just overreacting?
No, I don't think so.
I mean, if I'm a Lakers fan and you bring in LeBron and you bring in the Brow and then you make all these other key signings, and you're, you know, with some of these, I mean, you're supposed to win another championship, or at least be in the top whatever for fucking, you know, for, you know, at least get to the conference finals or whatever. I mean, and now you're going to be probably relegated to the play-in tournament, and you could get popped here.
Yeah.
I mean, the way they're playing, and dude, their schedule going forward doesn't get any easier. No. Like, check it out. Look and see if you can get it, because I want to run down this gauntlet, because I think they've got a legit chance to continue this 3-7 run. They got about 8 to 10 games left, right?
Right.
So they could go 7-12.
Okay.
And back their ass into the playoffs play-in tournament.
They won last night against Denver, but the remaining games, they got the Clippers tomorrow.
Okay.
They got Portland on Friday.
Okay. No fun.
Phoenix on Sunday.
Okay.
The Knicks on next Monday.
We were just talking about them.
Tuesday, yeah.
The Knicks already popped them once this year, didn't they?
Yeah. Then Houston will be a win because they're terrible. Then you got the Pacers and then New Orleans.
So they might get 3-4 wins out of that.
They'll get probably 3 wins out of the 4 because they're going to lose to the Clippers. They'll probably lose to Portland. They'll probably lose to Phoenix. They'll probably lose to the Knicks, and then they'll come back and win Houston, Indiana. But again, that may be too little, too late.
Yeah,
that'll get you in the playoff, series or whatever.
Yeah, the play-in tournament. That's what I'm saying.
That means
they're going to back into the play-in tournament, be going like 6-10 or whatever.
And then you'll get good. And then if you win the first round under, that means you probably have to play Golden State. Then,
I mean, that's not what Lakers fans are.
No, they're.
You know what I'm saying? Like, if I'm a Lakers fan, I'm like not fucking happy right now. I'm screaming and yelling. Why do I have broken down LeBron and broken down fucking brow homeboy? Yeah. Why is his brow the only thing that's still together on that guy's body?
I mean, come on. For God's sakes, they lost to frickin' Sacramento and Toronto and Washington.
Well, yeah. And don't sleep on D.C. now.
No.
Because Westbrook is the man right now. Like, at that position, I don't know if anybody's playing better right now than Westbrook.
Maybe Jokic? Or at that position at the guard and point guard.
Yeah.
Jokic will probably be your MVP right now.
Well, Jokic, sure.
Because Denver, I mean, we thought, they're going to be on to lose to Jamal Murray, and then they go off they're on an 8-2 run.
Right. But, I mean, Westbrook is creeping his way up the ranks of all-time point guards.
Yes. And right now, Washington is in that playoff.
Yeah.
Play-in on their.
That's why I said don't sleep on them.
No, because Beal and Hardy.
Beal and Westbrook are bad. That's a good tandem over there.
Yes, those are a couple bad guys.
Yeah, those guys are good. So like, don't sleep on them. They could get in there. And like I said, if you're losing to some of these lowers, there's another loss that could be had there that we don't see even.
Right. Well, I mean, Dallas shot up all of a sudden. They're in the 5th seed.
Right.
On her.
Well, when you got Luka, I'm sorry, you always got a shot.
Luka should be your MVP.
In my opinion, yes, because of the game-winning shot ability.
Yes.
I just don't see too many guys at his age. Maybe they just don't have the opportunity, but it just feels like if there is a game-winning shot to be had, he pops that son of a bitch.
And he makes some of the most insane game-winning shots.
Yes. Well, remember they were mimicking that one, like the Jordan shot. Remember they were playing the replays back to back. We did that fadeaway 3 that won that game. Was it last year or earlier this year? So yeah.
The only one I would say is maybe clutch shots like that. Obviously, would probably be like Damian Lillard. When Dame goes all Dame, so you go, oh.
Well, yeah, crap. But Dame's just a sharpshooter in general, right?
He's not creative and make the
Right. So it's a little bit different, and he's streaky. So like if he's hot, then oh shit, he's gonna make if he gets the shot off.
You're like crap. We're giving up 50 to this son of a
Well, the thing is if he's hot, the last thing you can do is let him get the ball in that situation because it doesn't matter where he gets it on the floor. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But if he's on an off day, then you're not as afraid of him because you've seen that. But
Luka could do so much more.
But Luka just feels like it's like even if he's off, he'll make that shot.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like to where Lillard feels like if he's off all game, then yeah, he could probably be off and he's just having an off night, and that's fine because he doesn't have that many of them, and his on nights are far outweigh it. So like, he's amazing to watch too. So let's not get it twisted. I don't want to get heat from fucking Dame at all, but. I love his game for sure.
Over under Stan Van Gundy gets fired immediately after the season's over from New Orleans.
Oh well, I think they'll. I don't know. Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, does he get a pass because of like we're coming off a COVID year and things are still a little goofy? And
no, because his players hate him.
I was gonna say, or is it that toxic in there that you kind of have to get rid of him? Because that's what it boils down to, right? So. Like if it was just strictly a performance issue from the team standpoint, you might give him a pass and say, okay, he does have a track record of doing well. It was a COVID year and things are kind of screwed up. Maybe we'll give him a little. We'll see. Maybe we'll just if he sucks it up, if he shits the bed early on, we'll just off him next year. Whatever. Maybe the buyout's less. Whatever.
I didn't understand it higher to begin with. Anyways.
I kind of that's my take on it too. I think his last run here in Detroit was really to me that showed me all I needed to see. I mean, I know we were here, and there was a botch like a motherfucker, and Sammy's fucked himself up. Jesus. Oh, sorry. We were watching. We've got wrestling in the background, and. If you guys didn't know, it looked like a botch to me. I caught it out of the corner of my eye. But I produce wrestling shows when I'm not doing this and
everything else.
Yeah, I do all kinds of crazy shit. So I have this stuff on for just ideas and stuff like that when it comes from a production standpoint and whatever. But it looked like a total botch job there, and someone got hurt, and I got distracted. Because I get distracted by that. And guys, if you watched these fights over the weekend, the Reyes fight, oh my gosh. Holy. Now, we had the Weidman thing just a couple weeks ago where he busted his leg Anderson Silva style.
Yeah.
But Reyes, I mean, God bless him. He stood in there and took an ass whipping like I ain't never seen. I forget the guy's name, and I couldn't say it if I wanted to because it's like some Czech name, and it's so crazy. And so he decides... however many years ago that he turns down a UFC contract to come. He says he ain't ready. He goes to he does like in a movie like Bloodsport or some crazy Van Damme movie and goes to some third world fucking country and learns all this crazy martial arts and comes back with a crazy freaky haircut, like all Kung Pao style, and he's all fucking weird and unorthodox with his crazy like kickboxing style, and he comes in and I mean, Reyes is like a contender. He comes in and fucks this dude up. Like, he comes with all the craziest angles I've ever seen and hits so hard. He had him on the mat. It hit him with one of those, like, 3-inch punches, and I watched the dude's orbital bone explode on contact. I mean, his eye went fucking purple instantly. Brah! Went closed. And the dude got up from a full mount like that. And then my dude was just like, okay, well, then I'll just beat your ass standing up. Hit him with all these crazy uppercuts. Then he's got him up against the cage. He throws a swinging right elbow that blows his face off like a cartoon. And before the fucking sweat hits the fucking mat, he's already spinning back around with the other elbow and cracked him right in the face and knocked him clean out. He fell arms to his waist and face first to the mat. He fell like a fucking tree. I was like, holy Jesus. I had to look away at every impact that this guy put on. I'm like, oh my God. Holy fuck, that's gotta hurt. Jesus Christ.
They show I got it on here, the still on there. I mean, race against the basically the ring there and
the
on
cage,
the cage, and you can just tell his eyes are all fucked
He is
up.
fucking
his nose is like almost sideways.
He
from
got
elbow.
so fucking smashed, dude. And the knockout was something. It was just vicious, dude. Just vicious. The technique and the everything that was going on there. His whole everything, dude. He just had it off his game. Dude, the dude never lifted his hand above his waist the whole fight. He was like not quite Anderson Silva cocky, but he was like had his hands down in that crazy like Kung Pao kickbox blood sport kind of movie fighting style that I've never. And he fucking whooped that dude's ass. And that dude hung in there, dude. He got his ass beat. Yeah, I couldn't believe it. And so, yeah, just, watching these guys fucking bump over here on the wrestling in the background here. It made me think of those fights, guys. If you're missing out on UFC right now, they're putting on some great fights. Usman went out there and handled Masvidal. What was that? Just like I said, not that long ago when the Weidman thing happened.
Yeah.
And so there's lots of great fights going on right now. Don't sleep on MMA right now. It's coming back.
Yeah.
It's like to me, it felt like it was going in waves, and there was a point in time with like the Ultimate Fighter and all that stuff where MMA was super high, but like the level of fighters you have now are so much higher and so much better than that now, and they're finally getting some really good matchups going. And then there's so many fighters that all these other companies are doing real well, whether you're watching One Championship or you're watching Bellator or you're watching UFC. You're getting high quality fighters at pretty much every promotion, unless you're watching YouTubers beat up old ex-fat basketball players.
All right, we got to hear the story just broke here. Looks like the Lions are going to be waiving Kerryon Johnson.
Is that just dead weight from the prior regime? I mean,
yeah. Well, again, the guy's always injured.
Yeah.
And then
I liked him. He just couldn't stay
healthy.
Yeah.
And then drafting the Oregon State running back Jamar Jefferson in the 7th round this year, pretty much said that's it.
Well, and when it comes to running backs, and you're going to do it by committee anyway, and I think the way the league's set up now, we talked about it before, Moose.
You need 2 really good running backs.
You need two running backs, but you don't need to pick them high.
No.
You can wait and get them late, and if you get them in the 5th and 6th, even 7th round, you're fine. And then you know what? You interchange them. You get rid of them.
I'm not a big fan of taking a running back in the 1st or 2nd round right now. Take them in the 3rd round, and we'll see what happens. I think DeAndre Swift's going to have a bounce back here because I think the offensive line will be much better out there. So we'll see that. But yeah, we'll get more to football later on. So
for sure.
I just saw that pop up.
Yeah,
there it is. But yeah, as we said, Indiana, Washington, Charlotte, and Boston all battling it out for that play-in. Boston's going to have to do something there, otherwise they're going to play in the play-in. And I don't know if they want to play Washington because they're the 7th.
No, they don't want no part of Washington. I'm telling you right now, they don't. Because Boston's been miserable. They'll get popped if they get DC in the play-in.
They can look great, and then actually they look like terrible. They're a soft team.
To me, it feels like okay. Soft, I think, is a generalization. I think if you have a couple fundamental changes a player or two that like a role player, and then like maybe somebody to go along with Tatum over there. Where I don't know. I just feel.
Unfortunately, Kemba Walker has the knees of a 70-year-old.
Well, that's the thing. Kemba is with the injury and the injuries and the knees and all this other stuff. When you get him at his peak, sure, it's great, but you're not getting that consistently enough. And I think when you don't have that kind of consistency, you need somebody else in that place, right? Like, you could keep Kemba Walker around, and he can be a great weapon, but you need somebody that can be more reliable and more, just,
right.
You know what I'm saying, more productive from being on the floor standpoint. So I just feel like if they had one more guy, then maybe they would kind of stand. But I don't know. I mean, I think, are we giving Brad Stevens too much slack? I don't know.
I don't know about that. I think you know what, we need to put a little bit more heat on Danny Ainge. Basically, he had all these draft picks, but you didn't do much with them.
Right. But I mean, ultimately, I feel like
he needed to make it. What he needed to do is, with his 3,000 draft picks, is trade up, get into the damn lottery pick. I mean, you hit the home run with Tatum because, again, Fultz was the first player taken, and he fell to you at 3.
Right.
Tatum should have been the first player in that draft taken.
Right.
He got lucky on that one. But what else did you, I mean, other than Brown and Tatum, what did you draft? He hasn't drafted very well at all.
Right.
No, you have all these picks. Trade up, man. Again, the fun coupons are only good if you do something with them.
Well, and the whole thing with the NBA is there's only 2 rounds, and there's only so much talent in the draft. So what are you doing? You're not picking 10 guys in the draft. So if you've got a bunch and you can move up and just get that much better of a player, we've talked about how 1-2 players can really turn a team around. Why are you not doing that? So I agree with you from that aspect. I think for me, the other point, though, is not that they've drafted all that horrible. It's just, other than Tatum, where have they really hit? All the other ones are just kind of like, yeah, okay. Nice. So like you said, they haven't drafted great. I don't think that they're necessarily drafted bad, because you got Tatum. Granted, it's a little bit of a fall to you kind of situation, but I just think they've done pretty decent with what they've got. But you're right. If you're going to do something, you can't sign a free agent. You can't bring somebody in. Then take all that stupid, as you were calling them, fun tickets. Take all all that draft capital and move up and get something. This isn't the NFL where you get value in the 3rd and 4th round. There's no 3rd and 4th fucking round. And there's not much value in the 2nd round.
No.
Not above what you can get from the G League or free agency or may already have in-house. So the 1st round is where it's at. So yeah, if you've got multiple 2nd round picks, get the fuck out of there. The only people that want to get rid of their 1st round picks and move back or take those 2nd round picks are teams that are trying to manage salary. Like, they just want a minimum they want to get the cheapest guys on here as they can. They're going to get cats that are going to cut any fucking way. Whatever their strategy is, to shit the bed for the top pick or whatever. So I don't know. It's just,
oh, here it is. Oh, cool. This is on here.
Okay.
Here's the draft history of the Boston Celtics since 2000. And we'll just go 2015 1st round picks. R.J. Hunter, Georgia State, bust.
Sure.
Terry Rozier, not a bad pick on there. It's in also 15. Mm-hmm. Then you go to 16. You had Ante Zizic. Gershon, I can't even pronounce that.
And when you do that, those talents overseas are really hard to judge sometimes.
Jabari Bird, Jaylen Brown, again, as we said, 16 was a good pick.
Good one, yeah.
But Tatum in 17 was a great one.
Yeah.
Robert Williams, not so much.
All right. So there's
Grant Williams, not so much in 19.
Yeah, but that was, I think other people would have didn't think that would have
Thybulle on there.
That one I didn't quite get.
Romeo Langford.
Yeah, that one either.
And then 20 was Peyton Pritchard and Aaron Nesmith.
Well, Nesmith should have been a value pick, but
should have been. It just didn't turn out.
Yeah. No, but I mean, I can look at that way across the board. Now compare that draft to,
20 other drafts in the league. I mean, that's kind of my point. There's talent drop off in the draft is significant when you go just to the second round. That's why they don't have a third and fourth round. And then you gotta, and we talk about it every time the Pistons fucking pick. If they're not fucking in the top 3 or 5, dude, it sucks. If you get the 7 pick, dude, you're like, what am I gonna get at 7? There's nothing there at 7. At 7.
I'm looking on it even further back.
So you can't. So you got to be you got to put some context to this draft situation. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I'm just looking on there, and their history on there since on there has been terrible on there. Because even go back down there, Marcus Bertha was actually a pretty good pick on there because he's still with them. But you had James Young, who turned out to be a bust. Jared Salinger, bust. Fab Mello, bust. Marshawn Brooks, bust. I mean, it's like,
yeah, but you're talking about other regimes and stuff too. So
I think he ain't just been there for like a decade.
So,
oh God, they're terrible.
But like I said, put that in perspective with everybody else's draft. If you're outside the top 5 picks, look at all those drafts.
Yeah.
So like I don't know that. So you got to put it in context, right? Like it's kind of like batting 300. Batting 300 is good, but if my doctor's batting 300, I'm probably dead.
Yeah.
Because my doctor needs to bat 1,000.
Yeah, because you look at their picks last year, they had Desmond Bain, Pritchard, and Nesmith. You had 3 first-round picks. Pony those up and move into the top 10 picks.
That's my point.
In 19, you had 3 picks under. Granted, you didn't hit on any of them either. Right. Pony those up into a top 10.
That's my point. Your strategy going into the draft in the NBA is different than the NFL.
Right, because when he had top 5 picks, he got Brown and Tatum.
Right.
Again, late round, first round picks. Use those and move up.
Yeah.
Somebody's going to buy, well, God, he's offering me 3 for 1. I got to take it.
Right. Yeah.
No, you don't.
Yeah, no. And that's my whole
thing. If
you're
your top 5 picks, and he's offering you 3 for 1,
do it.
Say, no. If I'm
not doing it.
If I'm sitting at 12 and he's offering me 3 for 1, yeah, I'll take it.
Yeah. Right.
But if I'm in top 5, no, that's okay.
Yeah, because it drops off like we talk about it. We whine about the Pistons getting 7 and there's nobody there.
I mean, this is a previous regime, but you look under the only 2 times they had out of that was they had the 5th pick overall in 07 they take Jeff Green.
Right.
And then in 06 they had a 7th pick and they take Randy Foyle. It was terrible. But other than that, they didn't have down there. I mean, Chauncey Billups was on there. Granted, they just got rid of him too early.
Right.
He again. They probably didn't have the right people because look what he came here.
Well, right. And that's kind of my point. You're
Ron
talking
Mercer.
About.
Ugh. Antoine Walker. Okay, that was a pretty good one.
Yeah, but you're going way back to other.
Yeah, but he took Eric Montrose.
Yeah. Now you're kind of getting away from what's what here.
And they all got screwed over in Len Bias because he liked cocaine. Well, he tried cocaine for the first time and died.
They broke ropes. They've got the mats ripped up, and I'm having a conniption fit if if this is happening at work right now. I'm like, oh my God, I don't care. These spots are crazy, and shit's all broken and fucked up, and someone's gonna get hurt. These guys are nuts.
Look at the harpooner.
I don't know. Look at he's got the turnbuckle.
Oh, I thought they were going to spear him with
it. Oh, he looked like it. They were fucking teasing the gimmick there. It's just a disaster. It's just a train wreck. When I see that, all I can think is, guys, you just shaved like 5 years off your life. This is crazy. But anyway, bodies everywhere. It's like a train wreck.
But we got hockey. We got to get it on here. But the hockey starts at the playoffs start. Again, we said today's the last day on here, the regular season.
So what is they're just gonna keep us separated there,
right? The East Central, all the divisions, the top 4 make the playoffs.
Sure.
So one place is 4, 2 versus 3 and then they'll go to that, and then they go to the semis on there. And then they'll start mixing in the different divisions. So then you'll start seeing as like after the second round of the playoffs, then the Canadian teams will probably either come over here and hopefully maybe they'll go to a modified bubble at that time.
Sure, gotcha. I'd like to see probably. I mean, if the vaccination was a little bit more receptive here, then I think it wouldn't be as much of an issue, right? You would just kind of, like you said, a semi-bubble where they just try to set up their travel schedule to be as minimal as humanly possible, and they just play their games however they can do it.
Yeah, I mean, the Wings are terrible, but you know what? They are better than last year. So.
Yeah, but they're still going to be like at the bottom of the fucking league, so...
They're like the 7th or 8th worst on there.
Is it?
And again, watch, this will be the year we get the number 1 pick. Hopefully. It'd be nice, but they're not.
Yeah. I'd like it. I mean, if they can get a top pick anytime would be nice in the next couple of years. They need, I think they need that to...
And then we get the first pick of the Capitals, which will be a late pick. But do you look like the trade on there, the Varnia for Mantha? It looks like right now is only one to trade.
Yeah.
Because Varnia has actually outplayed Mantha.
Well, it's one of those things where what works for us, you know, you don't necessarily have just because
both of them are about the same size, and they're pretty much the same player, age, everything's the same size, skill set, and everything is the same. I think it's just basically both players just need a fresh start somewhere else.
All right.
But getting the extra draft capital that's on there, but I got a feeling is we'll see what happens on there. But they got to get some of these kids up there. They need to get Zadina's looking better now on there, but Moritz, they got to get him up here next year.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, but then you know when you start looking beyond that, there's not a whole heck of a lot when it comes to.
But weird thing is, too, they got a winning record against Carolina this year, who's leading the East.
Interesting.
You
know how that goes. Some teams just have teams' numbers.
Yeah,
they've won.
They've won literally 3 out of 5. That's weird. It's just a weird. I'm like, well, of all the teams out there, they have played a little better on there. They're 3-4-3 their last 10. So I mean, but they're playing a little better. They still need to get some offensive help on there because their goal scoring is terrible on there. Not as bad as Buffalo, but I know that's even worse than Buffalo. But we'll look at their Anaheim is I think Anaheim is the worst goal scoring on there with it. But yeah, right now is just like in the playoffs. It's Carolina out of the Central, Carolina, Tampa, Florida, Nashville. Yeah, and then the East will be Pittsburgh, Washington, Boston, Islanders. And then the North Canada, we know for sure it's Toronto and Edmonton are both in the playoffs. Then we'll probably look like it's going to be as Winnipeg and Montreal. And then the West will be Vegas, Colorado, Minnesota, and St. Louis. So it was cool the other night too. Was like I think the Ducks had their last home game on there, and goaltender Ryan Miller has pretty much said I'm retiring after the end of the year. So they played the last game, and all of the Kings lined up to shake his hand on there.
Oh, nice.
Class act on there. Ryan Miller, again, great goalie out of Michigan State. Going to probably be a Hall of Famer, especially when you look at what he did on the international level, especially with the Olympics in 2010 and 14. He got us a silver medal in 10. There's no reason we should have even gotten that far. He played out of his mind. Only fault is he gave up that damn overtime goal with a fucking Crosby and gave Canada the goal.
Yeah, right.
Fucking bastard.
Son of a bitch.
Crosby.
Yeah. Wow.
MVP will be, obviously, it'll be more likely is McDavid.
Sure. Connor McDavid.
Again, he is the best damn player in high. I mean, considering this is only a 54 game season on there.
Yeah.
He's got 93 points.
I know, that's insane.
That's insane.
That is crazy.
On there. Somebody posted on there last week top individual scorers on there for single seasons on there, and it was 2 names. That was it. Gretzky and Lemieux. I mean, it's like Gretzky had 7 and Lemieux had 3. And I was like, and I look on there, and they both of them were up there for 87. You know, Gretzky was up there, and then Lemieux was on there. I'm going, freaking Eisenman had 155 points that year. 155 points, and he finished 3rd. That's how good those guys were. Eisman any other year would have been the MVP, the Hart Trophy, and everything. Problem is he goes against those two clowns and they go off for like 212 and 190. And then I'm going to be interested in, especially with the playoff wise, how things work out on there, especially with on there.
Yeah,
we'll see.
We'll see.
Again, for the,
plenty to get into next week for sure. This might be the year where
you might see Toronto or Edmonton that might get a run there and get to the finals.
Yeah.
If all years on there, this might be the year on that with it. We'll see what happens.
We'll see. Well, and we know in hockey that any team can win. Yes. It's just got to get in.
Toronto.
Yeah, well,
they haven't won since 2000 or 1967.
Ugh.
But you talk to any Maple under again, as the old saying was, why did they move the Hockey Hall of Fame to Toronto? Because that way the Maple Leaf fans can see the Stanley Cup.
Canada Mike I don't think is joining us today because we did not hear from him, and he usually is our roving reporter, and he does our little updates for us every once in a while here. So we didn't hear from him, so he's probably not here to defend all of that. So.
But no, this is obviously Toronto's best shot on there, and I think it's Edmonton might be able to hopefully get over the hump finally on that. But it's going to be interesting on it. Both of those are probably with there. Vegas is playing really good. Colorado's playing really good with there, and they're in the conference. Carolina's played outstanding. They played great defense. Outstanding.
And that's key, I think, in my opinion, this time of year, and that's a big reason why I feel like a lot of teams, you see those 7 and 8 seeds do well because they will come in and they will play good defense and do that kind of stuff, and it will carry you through a playoff series.
You're not going to have 8 versus 1.
Right.
It's going to be strictly on that, so it's going to be weird on that wise.
Yeah.
But yeah, you look at on there for goal differential. Vegas is the best on there. 57 goals. Actually, no. I don't want to say Toronto is. Nope, they're the best on there because they're 57 goal difference. Then Colorado's number 2 at 52. So they've got the 2 best defenses on there, and they can put some goals on there with 173 and 176 goals. So they're actually probably I would say Vegas is probably the favorite out of the Western Conference. Essentially, would essentially be on there, and the Eastern Conference on there. I probably have to say, just based on it, I'd probably be Carolina. Yeah, Capitals can score lots of goals. They've got the second best goal scoring as a team-wise, the Pittsburgh. But it's the Capitals, and they always choke, and I can never root for Pittsburgh. Never. As long as Crosby's still breathing.
Right.
I liked them when they had Lemieux and that and Yager, but I can't root for Crosby.
Oh, I can't either. No way. I don't know. I can't handle him. I could never root for him. It would be hard to root for him even if he came here. It would be. That's how much I can't stand that guy. Which that'd be blasphemy, I guess, if he ended up here. But, yeah, nuts. But yeah, this is the best time. The best hockey is playoff hockey. I mean, it's. And how it ramps up.
See where it is because it's not going to be on NBC.
I will not struggle to see where it is.
It's not TNT and TBS.
Because no, I will go to my little IPTV and I will
just go cocky.
I will go to NHL and then I will pick my matchup and then I will click on it and I will watch it. If you guys are sticking with regular cable television, you are out your fucking rabbit. IPTV is where it's at. My boy Todd can hook you up. He's got the connection with Prime. That's what we got here. You could do multi-screens and watch multiple things all at one time. We did that with the draft last week. As you guys saw, we had all 3 broadcasts up at the same time on one screen. It's absolutely beautiful. Hit us up, studio57radio@gmail.com, and I will hook you up with Todd's number, and he's a rep for Prime, and he'll get you set up. I don't have it on me. I'm so unprofessional. but I didn't plan to plug them, but I will because this shit's off the hook.
So just before we run out there, we're going to go under the baseball. Tigers run differential. The Tigers are already minus 66 runs.
Oh, is that all? It's not a.
We're only 30 games into the season.
Are you sure there isn't like a 1 in front of that you're missing? Jesus.
No. They've only scored 86 runs.
Wow.
You know who's even worse than them in runs scored? Of course, the Mets have played only 24 games, so 6 less games have scored 77. But here's the kicker: is they've only given up 93 runs because DeGrom every time he goes out there, basically gives up 1 run and they end up losing 1-0.
Yeah, right. Yeah, but yeah. So,
whereas the top scoring offense.
Well, this is going to be one of those.
Is the Reds at 152 runs already scored, so they've almost doubled. Ugh.
Yeah, it's gonna be a long season for Tigers fans.
You know what?
Canada Mike, when you get this on the replay,
I mean,
it's
gonna
be a
see if I can get
long
some
year.
minor league teams out of either West Michigan or Toledo or Erie.
It's gonna be hard. I like to listen on the radio, and it's gonna just still be hard.
It's gonna be terrible.
Yeah. So, I don't know. Guys, if you haven't had a chance, go to check out IWE Imperial Wrestling Entertainment on Facebook. Like, follow, share. Let everybody know what's going on there. We're on High Spots TV, dude. Like, I think it's, I'm not sure how much it is. I think it's like $9 or something like that. Or a month, $9 or $10 a month, and it's like all the wrestling you can handle. Another great spot to see IWE action, but there's a lot of cool pro wrestling stuff. So if you're into that, check that out. Highspots.com, I think, is the best place for that. Like I said, I just kind of say stuff and don't really think about it. And I don't have a run sheet here, so.
Jokic has scored 22 points in the first quarter today.
Jeez.
Phoenix is getting bombed by Atlanta. They're down by 20.
Nice.
76ers destroyed the Rockets. They're terrible. Kings beat the Pacers.
Okay.
Wizards, Bucks, great game going on there.
Okay.
96-93. And it's still the third. No defense. Russell's already got a triple-double, and it's in the third quarter.
I'm telling you, man, don't sleep on DC.
Grizzlies beating the Timberwolves. Nuggets are destroying the Knicks 56-31 in the second quarter.
Oh, okay.
Jazz are taking care of the Spurs 61-39. Celtics won by 26.
Well, they needed that.
132-96 over the Magic.
I mean, it was only Orlando, but they still needed that.
Blazers took care of the Cavaliers 141-105. Lillard 32 points, 9 assists.
All right, that's what's up.
So there we go.
There you
There's
go.
breakdown.
So yeah, next week we'll get a little bit more into it. The NHL playoffs will be underway, and we'll be wrapping up the NBA season and getting close to. We should have an idea of what all the seedings will probably be by next week, or at least pretty close. So we'll get into that. Lots of good stuff yet to come before we get into the dog days of summer, which is as much as the dog days of summer could be like a little less exciting in the sports world. I like the summertime. I like to do other things and have fun summertime stuff. And I'm hoping that we're going to be able to do a lot of fun summertime stuff, go to games and hang out with each other more and more. So guys, whatever you do, just stay safe, stay healthy, be good to each other. I mean, if the vaccine's good for you, go get it. As many of us as possible that can get this thing, the better off we'll all be, and we can get some normalcy, man. I want to go to these Tigers games this year, even though they're going to be horrible.
Yeah,
We're going to go watch horrible Tigers games with our friends this year. Can we all take part in that? So let's, depending on where you're at in the world, things are going to start loosening up and changing here soon. And they're going to announce some stuff for our international border here. And when we'll be able to go see our friends in Canada. So Canada Mike, hopefully that'll be sooner than later. So everybody just hang tight, man. The light is at the end of the tunnel, and we're going to get back to sports soon. Yes. Not just talking about them and watching them on TV, but going to the games. See their
live and everything.
So, guys, hang in there, man. Like I said, don't let this get you down. Hold on tight. We're almost there. Love each other. Be good to each other. We'll see y'all next week. We love you guys.
Peace out, brothers.
Peace.
You're listening to Studio 57 Radio, your home for underground hip-hop, rap, and R&B. Studio 57 Radio.